wolf's howl sliced through Glenwood Forest, reverberating among the trees. Poppy crouched low, the longbow in her hand steady, the red cloak pooling around her like spilled ink in the moonlight. She no longer flinched at the sound. It was as familiar to her as the thrum of her heartbeat. The air carried the acrid tang of wolf, sharp and bitter. It set her nerves on edge, not with fear, but with the thrill of confrontation. The Wolf King must be close, the terror of villages, the shadow in her nightmare. He had taken her parents, and tonight she intended to meet him face to face. She had trained for this moment under her grandmother's relentless eye, hours spent mastering her longbow until the string felt like an extension of her body. But as the Wolf King's howl echoed through the forest, the burden of her purpose pressed through her. Justice, her grandmother had called it, a word that once burned with clarity. Now it tangled with questions she couldn't silence. Could justice and vengeance ever truly be the same? And if she succeeded tonight, what part of herself would remain? A full moon pierced the canopy above, thin beams of silver cutting through the darkness. The enchanted cloak thrummed faintly against her skin, sharpening her senses. Shadows moved differently now, their secrets laid bare. The forest's quiet breath carried whispers of predators and prey. A twig snapped. She raised her longbow, her breathing shallow. The silence pressed around her. Sitting a little straighter, she peered into the murky shadows, her eyes flickering from one to the next. Nothing. Overhead, an owl hooted. The crickets chirped their nocturnal song. The wind fluttered through the treetops, swishing their leaves and clacking their branches. Another snapping twig. She gently pulled the string taut. Straining her ears, she listened for any sounds that did not belong. The creatures of the night had gone eerily silent. A low growl rumbled near her. She tilted her head and inhaled deeply. The pungent smell of wolf, thick and bitter, invaded her senses. A tingling sensation skipped up her spine as the hair on the back of her neck stood on end. He was near. She scanned the shadows until she locked on two golden eyes, watching her. Waiting, like her, angling her body to face him, she pointed the arrow directly at his head. The huntress was now the prey. Poppy had a decision to make then, release her arrow or drop her weapon. Her grandmother's voice flickered through her mind. Never drop your guard, for he will take that moment to strike. But he didn't appear to want to attack. In the gloom she made out his elongated nose and the gray fur of his face, the point of his ears. His eyes missed no detail as he stared at her, and she stared back. "I know who you are." The deep, dark rumble of a voice flickered through her mind. Her heart kicked into a wild beat. Had the beast spoken to her? And still those glowing eyes pierced her. A breath shuddered out of her as she peered down the length of her arrow. The underbrush rustled to her left, distracting her. She glanced away from the wolf's eyes. When she turned back, he had melted into the shadows. Gone. To her left, the rustling sounded again. She turned toward the noise, releasing her arrow in one fluid movement. It flew into the darkness. A moment later, a thunk, followed by a muffled oof that sounded human. She got to her feet and hurried through the woods with her cloak flapping behind her. She found the man on the ground, her arrow lodged in his shoulder. His eyes, nothing more than black orbs, met hers, which surprised her. Could he see her face beneath the hood, despite the magic of the cloak hiding her visage? It helped her blend into the shadows. "Do I have you to thank for this?" His voice was low and dangerous, each word sharp with fury as it rolled off him in waves. He grimaced, his face pinched with both pain and anger. She crouched next to him. Blood seeped around the wound, staining his tattered shirt.